This is Mitch with the 1000 Houses podcast. I'm here today with Robert Wensley, and we're going to be talking about a phenomenal software that you won't want to miss. I mean, you want to talk about someone doing all the heavy lifting for you. This guy's done it. I'm super intrigued. We almost stayed in the green room so long talking about it because I was so amazed that we weren't going to, we had to slap ourselves and say, we need to get on this call so we can show everybody else about it. And so I'm not going to waste any time because we've already been talking a lot. I kind of wish we'd have got some of that stuff on here. So I'm going to recreate some of it. But first of all, Robert, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, Mitch. Thanks so much for having me on the podcast. Love what you're doing with it, and just bringing real estate education to everyone and helping everyone level up their game. So thanks so much for having me on today. Really appreciate it, Mitch.
I always say my stats. I bought a house every 4 to 5 days for over 25 decades, or I always have my stats, and I always try to preface it with, somewhere out there is a guy that can wipe his backside with my stats. We're meeting the guy right now. He's right over here, and he's done incredibly huge numbers helping connect wholesalers and buyers. Okay, basically. And so, where are you physically sitting, Robert?
I am in Northern Virginia, right outside DC. I was based in California for a bit, got sick of the high taxes, and almost moved to Texas. But my wife's family, they live outside of DC, so I moved out here, got my place, got a nice new place on a wine vineyard, loving it.
Okay, good. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you kind of evolved into this software that you decided to build.
Absolutely. So I'll back up a little bit to, before I got into real estate, talk a little bit about how I ended up getting real estate. Originally, I had no thoughts of getting into real estate. I actually got into Harvard from undergrad, did my undergrad at Harvard in finance and economics. And my plan was to become an investment banker. It was like investment bankers that make $100K a year right out of school. Like, I want to have nice cars. I want to have good money. Seems like, pretty secure way of getting there. And, did some internships in finance and stuff while I was in school. And I realized I hated it. Like, you're just sitting there behind Excel, behind a computer all day long. I'm like, I hate this kind of work. Do I really want to be doing this for the next 20, 30 years? I looked at a lot of the guys that come out of school and been really successful, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, like all these guys, most of them didn't even finish their degrees. They dropped out, and they all went out and they started their own businesses. So I was thinking about that. I was like, what I really need to do? I need to start my own business. But I didn't really have any good ideas, right? But I had helped a friend flip a house, just, somewhere here and there. I had helped my parents with some construction, help them renovate their house. So I had a little bit of understanding of construction. I'm sitting there in my dorm. I'm watching, Park and Christina, HGTV flipper flop. They're making like $50,000, $100,000 on the flip. And I'm like, if I could just learn how to do that and just do 2 deals a year, I could make just as much money as if I worked in finance, but I'd have way more fun. Not have to grind 100 hours a week behind a computer. So that's why I made the decision. Hey, I want to get into real estate, and turned down all my job offers a few weeks before graduation, and decided, hey, I'm going to become a real estate investor.
And your parents hated.
Oh my God. Can you imagine the phone calls?
I had a guy that came out of college, came out of an expensive college, and he mentored for me, and he was going to work for me for free, but he had to have a hamburger and some gas in his car. So I said, look, I'll pay you $8 an hour just so you have something. And he told his parents right out of college that he was taking an internship for $8 an hour, and they almost disowned him.
I did the exact same thing. I realized really quickly that I didn't have construction expertise and I didn't have education. I didn't have money to pay for education. So I figured, hey, what I'll do? I'll just take whatever job I can get working with a professional, someone like yourself that really knows the game. And I'll look at it as a master's degree in entrepreneurship. So I just started cold calling house flippers until this one guy was like, yeah, come on in. And I did exactly what you said. I just took the lowest paying job I could get, just cover my rent and my food while I went to do my master's degree in real estate entrepreneurship, but on the streets, like actually doing stuff in real life. And that was the smartest thing I did.
Yeah, the old Kiyosaki, work for knowledge, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you start you go there the internship. How long is it before you're starting to do your own deals?
Yeah, so I told them coming in, I said, I'll do 3 years working for you, and then I'm going to quit. I'm going to do it on my own. And the CEO was like, most people don't last 3 years. So if you give me 3 years, that'll be great. So did 3 years with them. Now we were flipping a lot. We were talking about this a little bit before the show started. We're doing like 50, 60 flips at a time, but we weren't making any money.
At a time, a month, a day, what?
A month, but like we're managing 50 to 60 at a time. The average throughput on a home, maybe like, 60 to 80 days, ideally. It's in DC, so we're doing DC, Northern Virginia. So we're doing, bigger projects. Some stuff did stretch out a lot longer than that. But when you're managing 4, 5, 6 deals, you can get stuff done on time, on budget. When you're doing that kind of volume, it's impossible to keep stuff on track.
You're actually fixing all these houses up?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Almost crushed us. Then I discovered wholesaling. Like, I didn't even know about it until I looked at the data sets, and we had estimated versus actual profit on all our deals. And I was trying to do analysis to figure out who the good contractors were. Like, can we shift more projects over to the good contractors? Or
yeah, go ahead and ruin them.
Right. Right.
They're really good right now. Just put some more shit on them and they won't be any good.
Yeah. I see this cluster of deals where the assignment and actual profit are the same. I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this like a sick contract or what? Or is this like a typo in the data set? Like, no, these are the wholesale deals. I'm like, wholesale? What the hell is that? And they explain, the CEO explained wholesaling to me. It just blew my mind. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're telling me you can put a property under contract and then sell that contract on the house for tens of thousands of dollars more without ever swinging a hammer or actually putting your own capital at risk? He's like, yeah. I'm like, there's no way that's legal. There's no freaking way that that's legal. He's like, no, we do it all the time. Like, not that much, but when we don't see something when something's a deal but doesn't meet our buy box, sometimes if we don't have crews for it, we'll assign it to another investor.
So that deal's ended up making damn near as much money as going the whole way, right? Is that what you see?
Yeah. Well, I'm like, well, why the hell do you not just do just this? Right? And they're like, oh no, you leave half the money on the table. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand, your cash conversion cycle triples. You can turn your money way faster. So the time you do one flip, I can wholesale 4 deals. So I pitched the business owners on switching 100% to wholesale. Pretty skeptical at first, but they kind of really didn't have much of a choice because we were really in a bad cash position at the time. So we switched the whole company to 100% wholesaling, and then 6 months later, we're doing 7-figure months doing assignment deals with less than a dozen people on the team. And that's when I was like, damn, this is a really good business to be in.
So you're making a lot of cash. What do you do with the cash?
Well, at the time, the strategy was to go expand into other markets. So we're like, let's go turn this into a nationwide company. Instead of making $1 million a month in one market, let's go have 5 markets running. We'll make $5 million a month in 5 markets. Do you know how that went?
Yeah, because $1 million a month isn't enough. You got to have more than that.
Right?
Yeah, I know what happens. Then you get in another market and things aren't the same. People aren't the same. Cultures aren't the same. Nothing's the same. The laws are different. And if you tried to open 5 at one time, it would be hard enough to open 1 at one time. Did you open 5 at one time?
Yeah, so we tried I think we did 5 right out the gate. And what's interesting is when we went into these other markets, like the DC, Northern Virginia market is super competitive. Super, when you get a deal here, you're easily making 100K on a rep. But of course, because the deals are so big, you have fierce competition. So you got to be the best in the world at marketing and follow-up to actually survive and actually get the deals and beat the competition. Now, when we went to these other markets, you go to like Mobile, Alabama, there's not competition like that. So we were just shredding on acquisitions, signing up contracts left, right, and center. The problem was, in our home market, when we got a deal under contract, we knew everyone that was buying deals. We had a Rolodex stack there after years and years of doing deals. When we went into these other markets, we didn't know who the buyers were. And we'd get on, try to get MLS access and download all the cash realtors that done cash deals, and we get on PropStream and download all the cash transactions off PropStream and skip trades and have DAs text call them all. But it was just too slow. We had a disposition as a bottleneck. And you can do all this work on marketing, all this work on sales up front, but at the end of the day, if you're a real estate wholesaling business and you can't assign the deal, you're not making any money. All that work up front is wasted. All that time and energy you invest up front is wasted.
You have a clock ticking, right? Because you're not actually taking them down with your cash. You're just got a contract with 30 days to close, or 15 days to close, or 45 days to close.
Yeah, speed is key. If you don't get it done in time, that deal's done. And that looks really bad when you sign up a deal and don't end up closing. Ideally you want to be closing every deal. I hit my 3 years while we were going through that expansion, and then I left and I started a data company. Actually did that for a bit, but I had friends that would call me all the time. They'd be like, Robert, can you please help me? I'm working my ass off, not making any money. Whatever you did for Express, can you help me do that? And finally I was like, you know what? I've tried not to think about real estate, but I can't help myself. So I've had this idea for a product. I'll tell you what, I'll build it for you on one condition. Number one, you pay for it up front for the first MVP. And number two, I own all the IP. So I built the first version of InvestorLift before it was ever built, which the main idea was to have a disposition website, kind of like Zillow or whatever, but just for off-market deals. And we launched that. And that first company that we launched it with went from about, I think they were about 150,000 when they first started. And 6 months later, I think it was 5 months later, they were doing 7-figure months. And then 6 months later, they broke 2 million a month. I was like, damn. Now we're like 2 for 2 on like 7-figure wholesaling companies. But not only that, but now the second one's twice as big. So we did it third time, sure enough, same thing. Took the company from 0 assigning, 100% flip, 0 assignments, all the way past 2 million a month. And that company, when they broke 2 million a month, they had only 7 guys on their team. I was like, this is really good business. If you do it right and you have dispositions locked down, but dispositions was the secret key that most people weren't thinking about. There's only 2 ways to make more money on a deal. The one way to do it is buy deeper. And that's what everyone focuses on. Can I buy this deal deeper? It's like in a business, a lot of business owners, they focus on trying to decrease their expenses. But you can only decrease your expenses so much. You can only decrease the price you can buy a deal at so much. What you can do, what most people don't focus on, is driving more demand for the deal, getting your deal in front of more buyers. If you can get your deal in front of more buyers and get more offers on the deal, you can push prices up very significantly. So for example, the average wholesale that comes on InvestorLift typically has an average assignment fee of less than $20,000. But on InvestorLift, our average assignment fees nationwide across the system are typically around $35,000. They are getting squeezed right now, but typically they're around $35,000 per deal. So how do you go from 20 to 35,000 per deal? Just get more buyers looking at your deal, more offers on the deal. You get competitive bidding situations more often, and when you do that, you can make almost twice as much money per deal with the same amount, if not less work.
So we're going to be giving out an affiliate link. You go to 1000houses.com/lift, LIFT, and that'll take you over the show notes. And everything we talk about here, the ability to sign up, he really got my interest peaked. I mean, this is not my strategy, because I do what he was suggesting just a minute ago, is I try to buy at 65 cents on the dollar. I don't buy anything unless it has a large margin. I buy about 100 houses a year. It's a really, really good living. I do it with about 7 or 8 people, but I create notes for 30 years. I create, cash flow every month, say like 150 to 160,000 a month positive cash flow, of which I have no liabilities because I'm not a landlord. And then I picked up about $4 million in down payments to create those notes. And then with the money I made, I went and bought a bunch of storages, and then I pay them off, and so they've got a whole nother set of numbers over there that is free and clear, bringing in cash flow. So it's worked out for me, but I've never done $1 million months. I mean, outside of, I flipped a ranch, one time, but, but I'm saying as a routine, I don't even think about having $1 million months. But now you got me thinking about it.
Absolutely.
And
the beautiful thing is you can do the exact everything you're doing right now, you can continue doing, but juice your cash flows through the roof just by taking the deals you wouldn't do yourself, because your buy box 65 cents on the dollar, that's really tight. You got to be a real pro to have that kind of buy box. Most guys getting into the game are happy to buy at 80 cents on the dollar, sometimes even 85, 90 cents on the dollar if you're in a market like California. So you're spending this money on leads, you're spending this effort talking to those leads every month. But I bet you if you knew that you had buyers that were willing to buy at 80, 85 cents on the dollar in your markets, I bet you could do a lot more deals, right? Like do you think you could do twice as many deals if you could expand your buy box up that much?
Easy.
Yeah. So this is why I always encourage people to do. Your strategy is really smart, because if you stopped working tomorrow, you're still getting paid. On a wholesaling business, it's transactional. You're not building equity over time. You're not building.
But people used to look at they say, I want to do what you do and retire. I want to sell houses on notes and retire. I said, you can't retire. If you have 300 notes, I mean, in 8 years, you'll be down to 100. And then, in 12 years, you won't have any notes, So you have to have a forever play outside of what makes your cash. And that's what I'm trying to drive home with people. And even the people, maybe you need to have some of these conversations with the people that are wholesaling. Like, that's really great. What are you buying with your money? Because that's how you work your way out of a job. What are you buying with the $100,000 you're making every month? What the heck are you buying with that? Because you have to buy into something that's forever with that money. And if you do that enough times, you just pick when you want to check out. When you get it up to 100 grand a month, 50 grand a month coming in, do you want to quit now? Or 75 grand a month, or 100 or 150 grand? You just keep going, flipping, or my strategy, or whatever one-time or temporary cash strategy there is. And then you just buy up apartment complexes, or buy up storage facilities, or buy up warehouses until you don't need to do anything anymore, but call the manager of the company and say, well, how much is the deposit this month?
Yeah, 100%. I always tell our top wholesalers, say, hey, when you wholesale, don't spend all the money. Don't spend all the money. Reinvest back into your wholesaling business to accelerate your monthly cash flows off of that. But take a chunk of that and reinvest that into long-term rental assets. So the third company, for example, that broke $2 million per month on our system, they're a California-based company. And what they do is they take all the sign-up fees that they're earning, because they have a really low burn. They don't have less than a dozen guys on their team. Very low cost. Their biggest cost is marketing. But what they do is all that cash that they're spinning off, they invest into Tulsa. So they run 2 campaigns. They run one marketing campaign in California, but then they run another marketing campaign in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then anything that meets the 1% rent rule, where the rent is 1% of the purchase price, anything that meets the 1% rule in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they buy. So they've been buying hundreds and hundreds of single family homes all across Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they've been doing that for the last few years, locking in the lowest interest rates in history while they're available, and building up a massive portfolio there. So I think that's what the smart guys do. The problem you see is guys go too far one way or too far the other. If you're just wholesaling, you're missing out on the long term. If you're just doing the long term stuff, a lot of time you're missing out on the crazy cash flow you could be doing some of these shorter term strategies where you're assigning stuff, taking those leads that you already have sitting in your system. You might as well turn them into some fat checks after you've already spent the time and effort generating them.
Yeah. So let's talk about San Antonio. If I want to jump in and be in your system, what do you have to offer me in San Antonio? What does it look like?
Yeah.
Am I asking the right question? Because I'm not even sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll show you some cool stuff. And I know some people might be listening to this, so I'll just try to describe it for anyone that is listening. So on InvestorLift.com, we have this marketplace where wholesalers come on here, they post their deals, and then the buyers can come on, they can take a look at these deals, look at the street views, things like that. And if they like the deal, they can either make an offer or just buy it now, just kind of like eBay. Basically think of like eBay /sell for off-market deals. Now, someone like you, of course, could come on here and look for deals. Getting 65% discount would be tough to find on here. because guys might be taking stuff down 65 and then they're going to make like 15%. So they're going to be putting on here probably like 70, 80. But there is stuff. I've seen stuff on here for 40% ARV, you know.
Okay,
you
because I get it, but I would have to go through so much stuff. You know, it's not worth the 1 or 2 deals I find. I'd rather do what I do. But what's interesting to me is if I could buy, you know, on the things I passed on because they were 78% or they were 77% instead of 65, I could put them under contract and then I could put them on here. And I don't want to be one of the greater fools. I just want to sell to one.
Absolutely. Yeah. So before the show, I was showing you the back end here where this is what it looks like for the wholesalers. We come in here, we have a buyer's list. Now on the highest version of our software, we have built the biggest buyer's list. Everyone has basically pooled their data together, all the super power users, into this super high level we call cartel mode, where it's basically a big data pool where all these guys combine their lists together. And on that level, you see I have 3.78 million buyers, all geotagged with emails and phone numbers. So if I wanted to figure out how many buyers we have in San Antonio, we have 24,620 buyers in San Antonio. And look at this, we got phone numbers, we got emails, and we got scores too. The system scores every buyer based on their activity on and off the system. So if I have a deal anywhere in the country, I put my deal listing together, and then if I want to go blast it out, come in here, new deal notification, and I just select the areas that I want to deal blast that to, and with a single click, I can email or text it to my buyers in that area. And then those buyers are going to come on, and I guarantee you there's probably going to be some people that think 80% ARV is, you know, minus repairs is a great deal. Here, get some offers. Now you just got that under contract for 65, 70 cents, you sell it for 80, you're making tens of thousands really fast too, like within days, weeks.
So how much, by the way, I got the promo code 1000houses.com/lift to get a 10% discount. But how much does this cost me if I want to do this?
Use the coupon code. So if you go to that URL, it'll forward you to, and there's a coupon code that you got to enter if you want to get the discount. The coupon code is going to be your name, Mitch, M-I-T-C-H, Stephen, okay, S-T-E-P-H-E-N. If you apply that there, that's going to give you $574 off, okay?
So they got to go to InvestorLift.com/Mitch Stephen.
You could go to 1000houses.com/lift. Just when you get to checkout, just make sure you put in.
You got it. When you get to checkout, you got to say the code word, Mitch Stephen.
Put in the coupon code there. That will give you unlock that 10% off that we're going to do for you guys.
Okay, so let's talk about the cost of this. I mean, I'm seriously. You're selling me right now, so this is not a mock situation. So tell me what it costs me to do.
Yeah, so there's a base plan, and the base plan I think is, here's the thing. If you guys are watching this and you're doing less than 3 deals per month, don't buy this. It's not for you, okay? This is an advanced software that's gonna help you dispo your deals faster at higher prices, help you make more money per deal. Now, if you're doing less than 3 deals per month, you don't need this yet. You should take your money and go reinvest into marketing until you get to 3+ deals per month. Because if you're doing less than 3, you can hustle your way into disciplining them. Once you're doing 3+ deals per month, I think that's where it makes sense to go invest into systems to make dispo more efficient. Now, on the base plan, we have this thing called God mode. Okay, so you post on InvestorLift the same as all plans. You can text and email your buyers. We don't give you a buyer's list, a pre-built buyer's list, but we give you something called God mode. Now, this is really cool. You're going to love this.
It's called
God mode does. This is God mode. You haven't even seen God mode yet. This is really cool. Well, God mode.
How do you spell that?
God mode, like God and then
mode.
Oh,
okay. I thought that's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. With God mode, you can come in on any deal or any lead that you have, and then you can come in and set your radius out around a deal, and on a map, you can see exactly what real estate investor transactions are happening there. So if I'm trying to move this deal, I can see, Susie here just sold a deal and made $50,000 on it. Right down the street, Johnny just did a deal 6 months ago and made $80,000 on it right down the same street. If I call up Susie and Johnny and I say, hey, I got this hot deal on the street, just made a bunch of money on. Are you interested in taking a look at it? What do you think Susie and Johnny are going to say?
Okay, so what do those numbers represent in there? That's just the number that.
Those are just numbers on the flips. Yeah.
Okay.
So we get 0 in on. Now, what we do is we pull in the tax record data. And what I was frustrated with on other systems is they would just show me cash transactions. And cash transactions are problematic. It's very slow to build a buyer's list that way. The first reason is that just because someone buys something in cash doesn't necessarily mean they're a real estate investor. My mother-in-law, she bought her house cash. She's Persian, so in Persian culture, they just buy everything cash. She bought her house cash, bought a condo cash. Real estate investors are calling all the time. Hey, can I give you an offer on your house? She has no idea, what the hell, or they're trying to wholesale their houses. Hey, I got this hot flip, 650 ARV. Are you interested? She has no idea what they're talking about. Total waste of time. So you get false positives, but then you also miss out on some of the best buyers, because a lot of the best buyers, they're going to buy stuff with debt. They're not buying everything with cash, right? So you're missing out on those guys.
In your software, you can see how many deals they bought in cash.
Yeah, well, what we do is we don't care if they buy in cash at all. We structure our algorithms a little bit differently. We pull in all the tax record data every month, and we look for guys that are buying and selling in high frequency or with big jumps in price. So we're like, hey, this LLC just bought and sold 10 deals. What's the probability that they're a real estate investor? Pretty darn high. Or this one LLC, they only bought and sold 1 deal, but they bought it for 200 and sold it for 350 6 months later. What do you think the chances are that it's a real estate investor?
So you're able to show the acquisition price and the sales price on these contracts?
Yeah, if it's a recording estate, we can show what they bought it at, what they sold it for. And then what we do, here's what is really cool about the system is when we see someone's buying, we go back in the tax records and we say, hey, algorithm, go bring back all the deals that they've done, everything that they've done through that LLC. Just go grab it all and pull it back. And when they pull it back, we give them 1,000 points to their buyer score for every deal that they've done. So you can see here, this is actually, this is OfferPad. OfferPad's got a 15.6 million buyer score, huge buyer, right? Here we got Amherst, 2.6 million buyer score. We got 5 different contacts there at Amherst. And what we allow our users to do is come in here. So like with the buyer score, now I can go in anywhere in the country with a single click, see who the biggest buyers are. Think about how much faster that's going to make your dispo process. You're not wasting time with the noobs. You can go straight to the pros and just be talking to pros all day long and move your deals way faster. You see the power of that?
Yes.
Now, what's really cool too is the next challenge you run into on dispo is even if you know who the biggest guys are, you got to skip trace them and find their contact info. That takes a lot of time. So what we did is we're basically crowdsourcing it from our users. So our users can come in here, they can look up the registered agents for a company and then run skip traces on them. And then if they get an accurate phone number, like see how there's 2 green phone numbers here and a bunch of X out. See, someone went and they called through all these numbers. All these numbers were wrong numbers, but then 2 of these were right numbers. And they flagged those as correct numbers. So someone's already done that work for you. And as soon as one person skip traces and validates, everyone else in the network gets it, saving us all time. So over the last few months, we've literally skip traced pretty much the entire country. Now we're working on pretty much validating the entire country. Now, when I come in here, BAF3 LLC, I see that's a prime buyer in this area, 557,000 buyer score, huge buyer. He's done at least 557 deals. I got Nick as the contact here, and I got his email right there. Boom, good to go. So imagine how much easier it is now to go assign deals when you have all that data. And the crazy thing, you can get all that, you get access to that for $479 a month.
For $479 a month.
Unlimited data for the entire, we don't bill you each time you pull data. You get access to the whole, literally millions of dollars of data. $479 a month. We do bill up front for the year, so it works out to like $5,700. But then if people use your discount code, it works up to $41.73, or sorry, $51.73 for the year. Unlimited data. So if you're doing more than 3 deals a month, you should break even on that on your first deal, right? So let's say your average assignment fee is $20,000. If you had access to all this data, do you think, I mean, how much more difficult would it be to make another $5,000 in your assignment fee?
Yeah, I see.
Probably not too difficult.
Not too difficult. I mean, it would stand to reason.
Yeah. Now, that's what people can get on the base plan. The highest plan, once you're doing $250,000 per month, we'll invite you up to this plan. And that's the cartel mode plan, where what we do is all the top guys in the system, they just pool together their buyers list. So God mode helps you build buyers. Cartel mode, you can jump into a pool with other people where you're just sharing buyers. I can go hit Carlos Reyes's buyers list, Ryan Pinita's, Cody Sperber's, Tarek Al-Musa's, and they can hit mine. When they have a deal in my area, they can use my buyers. When I have a deal in their area, I get to use their buyers. On that level, we have nearly 3.8 million buyer profiles already pre-built.
So when you say when you hit 250,000 a month, you're talking about profit.
And assignment fees earned. Yeah, so the system will track that, and then you'll get invited up to that level. And then we have a level in between that's called lieutenant. And on lieutenant, we'll invite you up to that once you hit 100,000 per month, which is pretty easy to do. And on that level, we give you the top 25% of our buyers. So about 950 or so thousand buyers already pre-built, but it's the best 950,000 buyers that we have in the country. So everyone usually starts out on pro, and then as you start hitting new revenue milestones, I'd love to be able to give everyone all the pre-built buyers, but we would burn the list really fast if like a bunch of noobs were sending out shit deals. It would ruin it. So we're like, how do we figure out if someone's a good, like sending out good deals? Well,
that's why you have that point
system. Fees, yeah, and if they're earning money and people are buying their deals, then that's a pretty good indicator that they're sending out good deals.
Yeah, that's very smart, because like I hardly won't even talk to a wholesaler these days. It's like, it's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So we try to figure that out.
Okay. So I'm very interested. I'm going to talk to my partner, Mike Powell, and see. So is there any limitations to regions, or is it just whoever can put up the numbers?
Yeah. Everyone has access to the entire country. Because remember, circling back to what we're talking to at the beginning about how I was trying to take that company nationwide, Dispo is what messed me up. So my goal was to build some software that would allow anyone that wanted to wholesale nationwide to be able to wholesale nationwide. So like some of our companies, we have one company that moved deals in 44 states last year. They're trading options on houses, like trading stocks on the stock market. It literally opens you up to be able to do deals anywhere in the country. Then when someone calls you up, like this probably happens to you, Mitch, sometimes. You ever get people calling you up and they're like not in your market at all? They call you up and they say, hey, I got a house in wherever it is.
Yeah.
What do you have to say now? You probably have to say, oh, sorry, I'm not in the area, right?
I said, I don't know anything about it. I wouldn't know. You know what I mean?
Well, now you'd be able to actually take those deals down and assign them. You do the whole thing virtually. Yeah.
All right. So just remember the promo code Mitch Stephen. You go to 1000houses.com/lift and make sure you do the Mitch Stephen, no space, STEPHEN. You know the routine, guys. And check it out. Got God mode, lieutenant mode, and cartel mode. Anyone can get in for $479 a month, which you're going to have to pay for the year. So it's like $5,173. But if you use the promo code Mitch Stephen, then you're going to save 10%, which is about $517.30.
Yeah.
So is that right? Anyways, it's a savings worth having. So you're not going to pay any more if you don't use. I mean, you're going to pay more if you don't use the code. So these kind of little affiliate fees that I make from these sales to be completely transparent. It's what keeps this whole thing going. What makes the possible to have 550 podcasts for these viewers to sort through at their leisure, and to meet people like Robert Wensley and discover these kinds of ideas or opportunities for their market or for the nation. So, and maybe even to expand your thinking, which right now, I love it. That's why I do these podcasts, is because my mind is being expanded right now. Something that wasn't possible before this call. is looking like it's possible right now to me. So, I'm going to go get my arms around it, get with my partner, sit down and go, we need to look what this guy Robert's doing over here, because we could buy houses at 75 cents on the dollar and 80 cents on the dollar and still make some money. And we don't even have to stop the guys that are doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
We just need them to tell us when they can't buy it 65 cents on the dollar, they need to tell us what they could buy it for. And then we should hand it to some other guy and say, write it up and wholesale it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you'll cover your entire marketing budget plus cash flow much more just by adding that one step to your SOPs, right? Yeah. So, I mean, you're already doing all the work to go talk to these leads and generate them. That's the tough part.
Wouldn't it be nice to get 4 or 5 houses out of 20 instead of 1?
Yeah. And then what you can do too is you need to go take some of that budget and reinvest it and expand your marketing. And then you can do even more storage units. You can do even more of all these other things, right? Just you get the cycle going. Just if you can shave some off of the extra cash flow, put it back into marketing, you just keep on growing. I always tell people this: if you got 10 grand in the bank, you're 4 cash conversion cycles away from $1 million a month, right? By the way, before I say this, I'll preface it by saying that a lot of people worried about a lot of different metrics in real estate wholesaling business. They have all these vanity metrics that they track every day, cost per lead, all this shit. None of it fucking matters. The only thing that matters is number one, what is your return on ad spend for every dollar you plug into marketing? How many dollars do you get back? And then number 2 is your cash conversion cycle. How fast do you do that, right? So if you can just get a little 1% better every day, before you know it, you're making 7 figures a month. Now, if you have a lot of the top teams on InvestorLift, they'll focus primarily on Google Ads for their marketing, and the top guys that manage it in-house, a lot of them will get 10x return on ad spend. So when they plug $1 into Google Ads, they'll get $10 back, and they'll do that in less than 60 days. So if they plug in 10K into marketing, 60 or so days from then, they're gonna have 100,000. If they take that 100,000, and you're gonna have to cover some costs, but let's say you took 60 of that, not even 60. Let's say you took 50 of that, and you plugged 50 back into marketing. Now you're at 500,000. And then let's say you shaved off 100,000 of that, you plugged $100,000 into marketing, and now you're at $1 million, right? That's 3 cash conversion cycles from 10K up to $1 million. So you can't really do that in other businesses. That's why I love wholesaling so much, because if you can get your marketing dialed in where you can get that like 10x plus return on ad spend, you can scale up your team to be able to handle the lead flow, to be able to do that. Then it's incredibly easy to make really good numbers. It is more difficult in the smaller markets, like doing those kind of market numbers in somewhere like Baltimore or like Jacksonville, Florida. Like it'd be really tough because it's lower priced homes. We usually see that the average sign fees are about like 10% or so of the average sale price of properties in the market. So if you're looking at 15K sign fees, it's tough to do it in places like that. But areas like LA, Seattle, Colorado, Washington, DC, a lot of areas like that, people are seeing 50, 60, 70, sometimes $100,000 assignment fees. It's pretty easy to go hit 7 figures a month with really small teams.
I see. All right, my friend, I think we might have covered it. I think it's been a really good show. I appreciate what you're doing. What a fantastic idea. What an eye opener. And again, you guys, you go to 1000houses.com lift, but remember the promo code Mitch Stephen, no space, just MITCHSTEPHN. It'll save you 10%. At least try it on the basic plan. And if you can hit your numbers, they will call you to move you up when it's time. So everybody starts there. I like that. It's kind of a free market, but we're not polluting the list with a bunch of amateurs so that people just turn it off. I mean, people, it's very smart. And I like your scoring system. Anything I should add before we wrap it up, or did we pretty much cover what we needed to do?
Well, I just want to say thanks so much for having me on. If you're listening to this and maybe have additional questions, I did put a full demo, by the way, on your page. So if you go to that page, you'll see it. There's a full 2-hour demo. So if you wanted to see that full 2-hour demo where we dive in a lot deeper and actually show you the product. So check that out if you want to learn more. If you still have questions, there'll be a live chat button on that page. Number one, you can talk to my team anytime between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or outside those hours, just feel free to email us at support@InvestorLift.com. And we'll be happy to jump on. Either myself, my brother, or someone else from my team will respond to you usually pretty quickly and get you any answers to any questions you have.
Okay, again, if you go to 1000houses.com/lift, L-I-F-T, it's going to take you over to the show notes. And there's a 2-hour demo. There's a chat box there to ask questions. And there's a support email address. If you're getting serious or you're really not getting an answer or whatever, you can delve a little deeper and find out the answers. But I'm going to venture to guess that some people are going to go to 1000houses.com/lift and spend 2 hours of their time, and their life is going to be completely changed. I'm sure of it. And it won't be 100% of the people, because it's never 100% anybody. It'll be the ones that take the time to watch the 2 hours, figure out how they're going to morph a little bit from what they're doing or a lot from what they're doing, and make the shift. And then life is never going to be the same again. And that's, that happened to me one time when I walked into a Ron LeGrand seminar 30 years ago. I mean, I walked in one guy and I walked out and life was never the same. This guy, this idiot told me that I could make money with no money. It was impossible. I left there and I said, you know what? I think he's not, I don't think he's lying to me. And I was never the same guy. That's what's going to happen here. And thank you so much for your innovation and the thought and the time and the energy that you put in for our industry. And I love the way you're protecting it.
Love it. Yeah, we gotta protect the industry and help the top companies grow and just thrive and take people to the next level. I love what you said about people's lives potentially being changed. I'll listen to this. It happens every day. I get a text from someone that's like, "Hey, man, I got rolling in your system last year. I just want to let you know, like, I've literally 10x my business in the last 6 months." Actually, on that page, I actually put a sample of screenshots of those text messages because I get a few of them every week, and I just put a bunch of those screenshots of other people that probably might be in the same situation as people are listening to this right now. Or maybe they're stuck or they're working really hard and they see everyone else make a lot of money and they're like, "Hey, I'm working even harder. Why am I not making money? I think I should be making." Just doing small tweaks to your business like this, small little tweaks where you give yourself a little bit of an edge, a little bit better data can make a world of difference. So hopefully we can have some more success stories. And we'll have to come back on a year from now, maybe have some of those people come and talk about the success they've had. And let's do it with you too, Mitch. Let's get you rolling. And I know you're not a wholesaler right now, but we'll turn you into a wholesaler here in the next.
I mean, I wholesale the deals I don't want that I actually bought, because I take all my deals down. But the point is, you've got me my brain really turning, because I buy pretty deep. I mean, I buy at 65 cents or less, and I buy 100 houses a year. It's a good business, but I leave a lot on. There's a lot of things I passed on at 70 cents and 73 cents and 75 cents, 78 cents on the dollar. And maybe it's worth going and picking up one other guy and go, "This is what you're doing. We're going to follow these 3 guys around. And every time they can't buy it 65 cents a dollar, they're going to hand it to you and say, won't work because you can only buy it at 75 cents. And then they're going to hand it to us. And you're going to get, because we can reach so many buyers, quality buyers, we're going to wholesale these deals. Yeah. All right, my friend, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Robert. It's been great. You ever make it, Antonio?
I'm planning on it. I got a few friends down there. I haven't been down there for a couple of years, but I'll be down there soon. Next time I'm in town, let's grab a steak together.
Why don't you come down, and why don't you make an extra day? We'll go to my ranch. It's about 45 minutes south. It's about 600 acres, and we'll have a lot of fun down there. So, I love it. All right, man. This is Mitch Stephen with 1000 Houses Podcast. I'd like to thank Robert Wensley. And again, one last time, 1000houses.com/lift. And remember the promo code Mitch Stephen, no spaces, all lowercase, just Mitch Stephen, STEPHEN. Get it done. All right. And I'd also like to thank my sponsor, livecom.com, LIVECOMM.com. There's a reason why I have 4 days on the market with my owner financed homes. I'm averaging 15% down, and it has a whole lot to do with the same theory this man is talking about. I have 8,500 people that will not get off my list, and they want to know the next time I have a seller financed home because they have a down payment and they want to compete for my home. And you know, in a small little town or one county, to have 8,500 people that have to have a seller finance note, I just posted and it's gone. And so it's the same theory. Check out livecom.com, watch the videos on the homepage, and you'll see how I'm using that combined with some other technology to, I don't even put signs in my yard anymore. I don't put one sign in the yard. I don't put a for sale sign on anything ever anymore as far as my houses are concerned. So livecom.com. All right, Robert, we're out of here. Bye now.
Thanks so much, Mitch.